Now, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has met Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in Cairo. The two discussed trade and investment as well as ways of slowing migration to Europe. Germany wants to help improve the living conditions of migrants by pushing vocational training and job creation in neighborhoods inhabited by migrants. Merkel's spokesman says that Berlin is interested in helping Egypt strengthen its coastguard and clamp down on illegal trafficking across the Mediterranean, which of course leads to thousands of deaths each year. Now, the German leader is also expected to meet with businessmen, civil society representatives, Muslim and Christian leaders before heading to Tunisia on Friday. Now, Abdel joins us in Cairo with an update on today's visit. Abdel, many thanks for joining us. Now, the German Chancellor met with President el-Sisi this morning. We know they were discussing ways of slowing migration to Europe. What were the highlights of that meeting?
Well, basically, the main reason that Angela Merkel is here to visit Egypt and then tomorrow Tunisia is to curb the flow of illegal migration through the Mediterranean Sea. As neighboring countries to Libya, Egypt and Tunisia play a major role in that. They have not announced any significant details, but they say that there will be cooperation in that regard in improving the security in the Mediterranean. The German Chancellor also has praised the Egyptian efforts that since last year's tragic event of the Rashid boat that capsized with hundreds of migrants on board, all died in that tragic incident. Since then, Egypt there hasn't been any further boats breaking the borders illegally from Egypt, which means that whatever procedures, the intensification of the security of the Egyptian water borders that the Egyptian government has taken was quite significant that to Europe and particularly to Germany.
Now, Abdel, besides migration, we know she's also expected to meet with businessmen today. We hear she'll be inaugurating a Siemens power project. Are you expecting any agreements in terms of trade and investment?
Well, there hasn't been any significant indication that there will be new business deals to be announced during this very short trip. As you said, the major economic sign that has been apparent in today's meeting is the opening of the first phase of three of Egypt's new electric power stations, which are among the biggest in the world. The capacity of all three is expected to reach 14,000 megawatts, and that's a huge number. Of course, according to the German Chancellor, they would serve about 45 million Egyptians when the project is complete. The first phase was only to launch the capacity of 4,800 megawatts of electric power in three different cities across the Egyptian capital. They have already opened during their conference through a video conference through which all the three power stations have been inaugurated officially, at least their first phase. Other than that, it doesn't seem to be, there hasn't at least been any official news on further business deals.
Well, Abdel, prior to Merkel's visit, we did hear the German ambassador saying that there is indeed interest in investing in Egypt, but he did mention that German businesses are waiting for an investment law to be approved first. Now, give us insight into this investment law.
Well, the investment law is something that many countries have said that they're waiting to see what will Egypt do about it. The major repeller from investing in Egypt is the long bureaucracy that it takes for companies to register and to hire their foreign employees from their countries into Egypt, which could take up to 6 and 8 months in some cases. The investment law should be a one-stop shop that would cut through all this hassle and make the paperwork end quite quickly. The aim is to make it in a few weeks, and this would be a major shift, and it also will give a reflection to the stability in the Egyptian market. More so that there has to be, or what investors are looking forward to, and Egypt has already been working on, is what are the market exit strategy for Egypt? It's very known that Egypt has a huge or had huge limitations on the flow of foreign currency outside the country. Now, this makes it quite challenging for investors who are wishing to come to Egypt. They always fear how will they get their profits out, or how will, if they want to exit the market, how will they regain the capital that they've spent from Egypt and take it outside the country. So how businessmen will and investors will exit the market is also one other side to this collaborative investment law that has been long waited for.
Well, many thanks, Abdel, for those insights. Abdel El Maroui joining us there in Cairo.